Yeah. Is it good to be at the bottom? Where sovereign nations, not global governance, but actually separate little countries, they act like firewalls, don't they? If you get one little Idi Amin, it's tough for him to get into the next country. If you get a Hitler over there, gee, he's got to, go through each individual country. But if it's one world, one government, yeah, wouldn't you like to be the Hitler then? Oof. Times get pretty mean. How about a Mao Zedong, We killed 60 million because it was a cultural revolution. Hey, I guess maybe you should start thinking about this. When I ask you this question, have you ever had a criminal in government before? Could that happen? Has it happened in the past? So here, we're going to give you some quotes. We all remember Henry Kissinger. I believe he's wanted as a war criminal around the globe in different countries. But you remember Henry because I'm Henry, and my name is Henry, and I'm going to tell you about Henry. So here's some quotes that Mr. Kissinger said recently. By the way, you should look up, he was on the New York Stock Exchange, and he also mentioned, this is a good time, the economic problems will help us bring a new world order. But I'll read that to you. So anyway, here he is, Kissinger, an editorial that he was, that the coming depression, for the International Herald Tribune. And here's his quote. Obama, the manufactured messiah out of nowhere, Kissinger writes, is the answer. The extraordinary impact of the president-elect on the imagination of humanity is an important element in shaping a new world order. Well, that's Henry Kissinger. And the reason I found that interesting was because Obama's first job out of high school was what? Excuse me, not high school, out of college, was working for Kissinger and Associates. So Henry thinks it's a good thing. We're going to have a new world order. It's not the first time he's gone through and said it. But just remember, Henry, where's he come from? Hey, that's right, he's with the Council on Foreign Relations, started by David Rockefeller, And also the Trilateral Commission. He's been a Secretary of State. Yes, also, Anyway, rather interesting, So, just to go on a little more for you, when you think of Henry, what did Henry do? Oh, Henry went to China, back in the days of Nixon and all that. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things, done with Henry. And like I say, around the globe in some places, they want a piece of Henry. So let me give you one from the Washington Post. This is recent also. This was Saturday, November 15th. And it's, the little quote I liked was, most nations, including the United States, have acknowledged that a new world order has emerged. Oh, that's interesting. So that's twice. That's Henry says it, and now one of your big papers, one of your Washington papers say it. What do they know about this new world order? Once again, wasn't Hitler talking about a new world order? So let's go back in time and let's go, got a couple good ones for you. This is Professor Carroll Quigley. I think he was Bill Clinton's mentor. Remember, because we think there's a difference between Republican and Democrat. Maybe the people behind them. Gee, if you control all the horses in the race, do you win? So this one I like. This is from Quigley. This is from his opus, Tragedy and Hope. And there does exist, and has existed for a generation, an international network which operates to some extent in the way the radical right believes the communists to act. And he goes on, he says, I know of operations of this network because I studied it for 20 years and was permitted for 2 years in the early 60s to examine its papers and secret records. Secret records, huh? Okay. So that was Carroll. What does Carroll Quigley know? He was Bill Clinton's mentor. That's a big thing they always tell you. So we'll come through, and I picked out a whole bunch of them for you, and I could go through things in time, but I thought I picked out juicy ones. Ones that you're going to say, this guy came on my TV, and he told me about this. Could there be people behind the manager of the store? So here's one for you. We'll go back. This is July 26, 1968. We've gone back to that good old Vietnam time, okay? This is Nelson Rockefeller. You remember him, right? Okay. And he pledges support for the New World Order, okay? In an Associated Press report, Rockefeller pledges that as president, remember he was running for president, he would work towards an international creation of a new world order. Wow, back in 1968, not just Henry, but we had Nelson Rockefeller saying, hey, that's an idea, we'll do that. Then in 72, President Nixon visits China. Remember those days? Okay, toast the Chinese premier or whatever, Chou En-lai, right? Who, by the way, was a former CFR member. That's right, Chou En-lai, Council on Foreign Relations. Boy, the head of China, CFR. Have all your presidents been CFR members since like the Second World War? So anyway, this is what Nixon says. He expresses the hope that each of us has to build a new world order. Interesting. Then in '73, the Trilateral Commission is established by a bankster. Remember gangster, remember banker, a bankster. His name, David Rockefeller. Wasn't it the Rockefellers who gave the land for the UN and the check? I mean, the first check. Let's break ground and build a building. Why would these bankers? Why would they want to do that? So anyway, and he organizes this new private body. That's the Trilateral Commission. With he chooses Zbigniew Brzezinski. You know, he later becomes, the national security advisor to President Carter. I remember Zbigniew. Yeah. Hey, wasn't he on the Obama Change website until everybody got upset and said, what's Zbigniew doing there? Doesn't Zbigniew have like 5 children? One in charge, one running NATO, one on your national news every night, the female gal, his daughter. I mean, how much of this, are you going to go with? So anyway, rather interesting. So Jimmy Carter also, they invited him to become a member. Thought that was interesting. Now it's 1975, and what do we have? We have in Congress 32 senators and 92 representatives sign a Declaration of Interdependence, where, this is what they write, we must join with others to bring forth a new world order. It just keeps coming up. Jeez. Narrow notions of national sovereignty must not be permitted to curtail that obligation. So now we've got senators and congressmen thinking the way Henry thought, the way Zbigniew thought, the way David Rockefeller. When I say think how they thought, this is all how Hitler thought. Yeah. Well, I got a good one for you. It's 1975. Kissinger on the Couch is published by Phyllis Schlafly, and I like this. This is a quote from it. Once the ruling members of the CFR have decided that the U.S. government should espouse a particular policy, the very substantial research facilities of the CFR are put to work to develop arguments, intellectual and emotional, to support the new policy and to confound, discredit, intellectually and politically, any opposition. That's interesting. So that's what the CFR does? Yeah. Okay. Interesting stuff. Here's one for December 7th. I remember that date. Do you? Who made money during that war? Okay, December 7th, in an address to the United Nations, Mikhail Gorbachev, what's he say? He says, world progress is only possible through the search for universal human consciousness as we move forward to a new world order. Wow, so he's in front of the UN. And Gorbachev, that Russian guy, the Chinese guy, the Russian guy, Chinese guy, Russian guy. These are the leaders of those countries. They want New World Order. They talk New World Order. Well, on May 12, 1989, President Bush. Remember Daddy Bush? Now remember, his father was Prescott Bush, who had his assets frozen in 1942 by the United States Congress because he was the biggest Nazi banker in the country, working for Brown Brothers Harriman. Yeah, Union Bank. But anyway, President Bush invites the Soviets to join the world order. Speaking to the graduating class of Texas A&M University, feel bad for them, okay, Mr. Bush states that the United States is ready to welcome the Soviet Union back into the new world order. Once again, May 12th, 1989, in case you want to check it out. So then we have September 11th. Oh my gosh. It's funny how these dates keep showing up, huh? September 11th, 1990. President Bush, once again, calls the Gulf War an opportunity for a, guess what he calls it an opportunity for? A new world order. In an address he gives to Congress, you know what's entitled? Toward a New World Order. Are you listening? It's not me saying this. I'm just reading you what they said. So Hitler, okay, go through. You know, we got the guy running Russia. We got the guy running China. Are you seeing this yet? Is any of this, clicking? So anyway, 1991, President Bush praises the New World Order in a State of the Union message. 1 year later or whatever, okay? So what is at stake is more than one small country. It's a big idea. Guess what the next one? A new world order. You know, they probably would have called you a kook years ago if you said, hey, you know what? There might be some people getting together to create this thing that they call a new world order, and they may not be in your best interests. They're building camps to detain you, or somebody. They're building camps to, to what? Torture's now legal, and guess what? They do it.